Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Ramblings of a Designer podcast. This is a weekly podcast where we talk about the latest in graphic design news from around the web. My name is Adam. I'm a designer from the San Francisco Bay Area. I specialize in visual UI design with a little bit of illustration. I like to give companies character. And every week I'm joined by my co-host, Terry. How's it going, Terry?
Hey, Adam, thanks. Yeah, as Adam says, my name is Terry. I'm a UX UI designer from the Bay Area. I help bridge the gap between products and their end users.
Great. Terry, every week we like to start about how our week was since we last talked. So how was your week, Terry?
It was pretty amazing. I started to get back onto the coding train, and I'm still hitting a wall, but that's okay. Then every time I kind of hit a wall, I go onto YouTube and go into watching Muay Thai fights and techniques. So
Okay.
the past 2 nights I've been kind of staying up late, kind of be like, okay, I'll do a little coding. I'm like, oh, what's already here? And I kind of like watch, like, wow, it's just everything, and then go back to coding, and then kind of go back. So that's been my 2 nights, weeks, off and on, and just reading a book, and then I finished a client's piece. I'm doing a logo and a brochure. I gave him 3 options, and I sent it off. And the next day, he picked one.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so cool. So now I'm just waiting for the brochure and get that done. And just trying to set up the business side on that. That's been an interesting learning experience. I am working on a newsletter. I will have a free PDF freebie if people sign up. It's not out yet. I'm still trying to put on the finishing touches on it. That's pretty much about it. So what about you, Adam?
Yeah, so at the end of last week, I was swamped, right? Just swamped with a bunch of client work, and I didn't want to do it anymore. So luckily, this week has been pretty clear, and everything's been going. And I had planned it that way, right? And so now I have just like this whole week has been just pretty fun and inspirational. So I've been trying to figure out like what I can do. On the meantime, I have all these side projects I've been meaning to try to get out. And yeah, I've been drawing a whole lot more. So I think I pretty much spent the whole day, not the whole day, but this whole week drawing a little bit of something every week. So sketching here and there, working on things here and there. It's been pretty awesome. I've been having just a fun, sketch kind of week. Oh, one thing I've been doing that's been pretty cool too is so during, you know how during your meetings and take all these little notes, right? I've been actually on the sidebar of all my note taking. This is when I have time. Is I've been converting those notes into infographics, little infographic sketches. And so just to keep me drawing, just to keep me practicing a little bit. And so now if it's like, oh, we're going to have this event on the 20th, I'm like, okay, I draw a little calendar icon with the little 20, or, it's this time we're going to do it in Russia. I'm like, okay, I'll draw a little map of Russia or the globe and where Russia would be, or Europe, and then put a little arrow there, little things like that. Just seeing if I could just get ideas out and just sketch just a lot more. And so yeah, that's my week has been going really great. I've been having a blast.
That's a smart tip. That's really really smart, because if you don't have enough time to sketching, or if you're busy or this that, so again, takes Adam tips. If you're taking notes for something, just take something and just spend a couple seconds just to sketch something, just to get going. I like that. That's a great tip.
Yeah, it's really awesome. It gets you thinking about like how to transform that data into like just icons or an infographic or something, So yeah, if you're bored at work taking notes, draw a little something on the side that's relevant.
Relevant. Got it.
So, all right, let's get into the news.
Oh,
All right, Terry.
so
Uh-huh.
no gripes?
Yeah. Mm,
I
no,
guess not.
I didn't
Okay,
have
let's go
anything
right to the news. Neither did I. I think that's the first time.
that you didn't have one, or that we each didn't have one.
We did not have one.
I mean, there's always something. I just couldn't think of anything.
Well, no, well, don't force it.
Yeah, no, well, that's, I didn't. All right. So, what do you got, Terry?
All right. Well, let's go with this is from UX Collective. This is from Tess Gadd, Gadd. Tess, if I pronounced your name wrong, I apologize. I mean, pronounced your last name wrong. She did an extensive cheat sheet. It's called UI Cheat Sheet Text Field, and she goes in so depth of the name, the anatomy, the structure, the icons, the text field states, the feedback, the autumn format, touches target, accessibility checklists, close, and then at the end she talks about her closing thoughts. But this is one of the most depth pieces of a certain design system of what the language means and how it means, and she did an excellent job of just going everything. Again, if you are just getting into UX or UI, or trying to learn about design systems, or if you are a seasoned designer, and sometimes when we design, we forget certain things, because that has happened. But excuse me, but this is a great refresher course, definitely. But you know, she goes into common text fields, styles. Like I said, it's a great lengthy, and then she explains how to avoid using certain, like, zigzag with your eyes, which is a bit tedious. And she talks about that regarding the input boxes, and that and then she talks about icons, so the standard icon use of where you actually put the icons in the text field. Do you do it before? Do you do it after? Do you do it out, on the left, right? So she definitely goes into that, and where to actually clear an icon, and the password, and the states. I mean, it just goes on. I mean, it's definitely of an 18-minute read, so get comfy. I would say get something to eat, get your tea, and sit down and really dive into this article and really, really learn. I mean, I had to read it a couple times because it's just so much information, awesome information. So, and I will just leave it as that. Adam, what did you think about her UI cheat sheet?
Yeah, she definitely goes all in on this article. So she has a lot of information, and she has definitely a lot of examples of just every type of text field that is kind of out there now. And what I like about it is that she doesn't just she doesn't just say them all, but she also has something to say about each of them, right? Like, why you shouldn't just rely on the labels being in the text field, that sometimes that it'll go away, and that you may not, the user may not remember what info they entered at any given time, right? So it makes sense to have the label visible. And kind of her favorite ones that she kind of called out was also my favorite one, which is the kind of the floating labels in material design, where you have the label in the text field, but then when you click on it, it kind of just hovers to the top, and so it still remains there, and you'll still have the label there, and then you can enter all your information. So it was a pretty cool article. I definitely like seeing all the different forums out there and kind of what her thoughts are on best practices. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, Adam. So what do you have for us?
Yeah. So my first article is called Alexa Open Adobe XD. And so this is from Adobe Blog, right? And so this is pretty much saying how now their XD has a way to be integrated into Alexa's or Amazon Alexa's kind of their touchpad screens that they have, right? And so what you can do is you can create a prototype, you can upload it to an app through the Alexa store, and then from there you can kind of test out your voice prototypes in an actual device in Alexa. And so, everything's kind of pre-rehearsed, right? So you have to enter kind of what you're gonna say and what Alexa's gonna say back to you, and through XD, you kind of put where all the triggers are. So what'll open when you say what. But I mean, it's a great proof of concept. It's a great prototype that you can like show a client, right? At a presentation, you could pop out the Alexa and be like, yeah, look, this is how the device will interact. And it's amazing. It's a pretty amazing little thing that they've included now, and it's pretty cool. So I definitely like the idea. Terry, any thoughts of being able to almost use Alexa to test your designs?
I will be using XD.
See, I'm
'Cause I
like slowly
haven't-
getting.
Yeah. I've definitely Sketch has been in the game for a while, but I got to give it up for Adobe. They are kicking Sketch's butt, I really think. And I
Yeah.
really feel. Unless Sketch comes out with some other stuff. I don't know. But I think they're getting their market back.
And it could just be my bias a little bit, but I definitely like all the stuff. But I guess I'll keep an eye out for more Sketch stuff just to see. 'Cause I feel like every time I always mention XD stuff, but rarely any Sketch stuff.
Well, I mean, when you come to think of it, what's going to be our future? It's going to be voice, right? Because pretty soon, I think, search. I mean, search is going to be there, right? But everything's going to be come with our phones or just having Alexa saying, Alexa, I need more toothpaste. Buy me toothpaste.
Yep.
And they're going to know, right? I mean, they're not going to open their laptop, turn it on, wait it to go, and like, I want to buy this. It's just out of convenience, basically, because everybody's so busy. They don't want to spend time. Well, I know I don't. Quicker the better. But anyway, great article. Definitely.
Awesome. So that was, what was it called? It was called Alexa, Open Adobe XD. And you can find that at the Adobe blog. So the blog.adobe.com. So Terry, what do you got?
All right. I'm sticking to UX Collective. And this is from Tony Jin. And it is about how I design and build my UX design portfolio from scratch. And again, this is a 17-minute read, another long one. I apologize. I'm not sure why I picked all the long ones today, but I just did. But again, I have a lot of students kind of ask me the same question, like, what should be my portfolio, or what should it look like? And, and they have all these different articles and mentors say, do this, do that. But anyways, Tony actually gives some really great examples. So anyway, he goes on to tell where he come from, why he couldn't himself and everything. And number one, I'm just going to just read a couple because I don't want to be a spoiler alert. So number one, he says, learning from more experienced designers, which he is totally correct. So again, start talking to different designers, find out what they like to read and everything as well. And then basically have your second step to actually design your portfolio is the platform. Do you want to code it yourself? Do you want to use Webflow? Do you want to use Wix? There's so many choices out there, but again, you're going to have to pick the one that is right for you because everybody is a little bit different regarding that. And then he just goes on, talks about user needs, And here he has just a project overview about everything on like exactly what should be or what you want to showcase, right? Is it an app, or is it a digital sheet, or a responsive design website? So anyway, he continues on everything and gives great examples, where to find it and everything like that. So like I said, I don't want to spoil everything, but Adam, what's your take on this? Did you think Tony did a really good job of like explaining everything, or what?
Definitely goes. Also, another in-depth article. He really goes into like a little bit of everything. My favorite, which is 1.1, is where he talks about like where you can go to see other designers' work. Right. I know for me, like, yeah, how do you find a good portfolio, or how do you find enough of them? And so he gives a really good list of like, hey, where he goes. And one of them is actually just looking up alumni from different design schools. And I was like, oh, wow, I never even thought about that. So that's pretty cool. Like, I definitely like that idea. And so, yeah, then he goes into his project that he went into, and how he went in depth into creating it. And yeah, like he just gives a lot of just general cool design tips. It's definitely a long read, and I definitely think it's worth checking it out.
Yeah, and also too, aren't you trying to work on your portfolio as well?
Yep, I'm slowly but surely. Yeah, I know it.
I think we're all slowly surely trying to build something new.
Yeah. So I'm definitely going to be looking at 1.1 in this article.
Cool. All right. So I do have one cliffhanger, but I am just going to say the man who wrote it is 83 years old.
Okay. So
that's a cliffhanger.
All right.
Or older.
All right. Okay. So for my next article, it's going to be talking about, I guess there's this Stefan Sagmeister, right? I guess he's a pretty well-known kind of artist designer from a while back, right? But he's mainly been, a while ago, he kind of combined forces with another designer called Jessica Walsh, and they created Sagmeister and Walsh. And so they've done a few different gigs on their, it looks like, I don't know exactly what kind of clients they have because they didn't really put it on their website, but it looks like they worked kind of just doing a bunch of different art pieces. A lot of the stuff that they do seems to promote them more than anything. So that's one thing that I found pretty interesting. Like, for example, if you go to their website, they have a link to their work, which is just a lot of stuff that they've kind of done. I believe it's to kind of like promote themselves. But if you go under press, like, they have a bunch of photo shoot images so that if you're going to write a story about them, you already have the images that you can use from them. So I thought that was kind of funny too. I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. And you could download them right from, they give you like the Dropbox links. And I was like, wow, they're really into not only branding, but branding themselves really well. But anyways, so Stefan, from what I hear, has decided to I guess maybe not leave the company, but just like step away from it a little bit. And so Jessica Walsh has decided to go and create her own creative studio, and she calls it And Walsh. And when you go see her website, that is also a pretty like a lot of what it is really using her face, really first and foremost to kind of brand a little bit of everything that they do. So she's almost it's not about the company, it's more about her. And I thought that was a pretty cool take on it, right? Like, you want to talk about branding, you got to brand yourself first and foremost, right? And so like her stuff, the marketing material that she's made for the website is pretty crazy. It's great. It's all about this kind of weird deserty vibe, and she really plays on this ampersand, right, which is the and Walsh, the and part. So you see a bunch of different variations of the and symbol, and like in like this one, it's kind of like evaporating in water, and just like this 3D kind of feature. It's floating. It's going around in 3D, and she has on her Twitter or on her Instagram account, she kind of talks about her starting the business a little bit, and she points out that she in the creative agency, there's only 0.1% that's been founded by women, even though 70% of women are in design, are in makeup design, the number of design students. And so yeah, like out of all that, like she's joins the 1% that hasn't, that is that is owned and operated by a woman. And so I was like, wow, I was surprised by that statistic. I didn't realize that it was so small, when yeah, women do a really great job in the design industry overall. And so I'm surprised that there hasn't been too many owners. But yeah, it's a crazy story, and like just a lot happened this week about it. And so I'm definitely going to be following her and her work a lot more. And so I'm just hoping for great things. So Terry, your thoughts?
No, I think that's awesome. I like the way how she integrated of her staff, and they're like all wearing blue, and everything she has done on this website is definitely on purpose, and why. So I think it's, yeah. I mean, she'll definitely have a lot of work, and it kind of reminds me. I mean, even though it is design and branding, it reminds me of the fine arts coming back in a way, kind of like of an art performance piece in a way.
Yeah, it seems less
Right?
like, it seems less like regular, designs for websites. Like these are like, it's like exhibits, like
Yeah,
almost an
exactly.
experience, right? Seeing the stuff that she did, or that they did at Segmeister and Walsh, you see like just their beauty product. Like here, the first introduce you into all these different types of playing with all this beautiful black and white aesthetic, and then you see kind of the building that they have, and it's just like raining on both sides of just this beauty kind of this kind of look, and it's amazing. It's like, okay, well, these they're really great at conveying just an experience, that's what I like. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I even like the underneath of their work. If you scroll all the way down, there's a lady that has like of a coat, and her hand is in her coat, and there's an octopus like leg coming out of it. It's like, what is that? But it's so like quiche, or I'm not sure the proper words, but I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. It was a pretty big kind of article I've been seeing, and so yeah, I guess that's something that we're gonna have to keep an eye out for.
Awesome.
Find her website at andwalsh.com. And that's all I got for this week. Terry, what about you?
No, that's it. I just told you guys about the cliffhanger. The person is 83 years old, and go read it.
All right, then, Terry, where can we find you on the internet this week?
Oh, only this week?
Every week, I guess.
Every week. I'm just joking. Just busting your chops. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter. My handle name is Flaxen Ink, FLAXENINK. And you can find me on Instagram, which is Flaxen Ink, FLAXENK.design, DESIGN. And what about you, Adam? Where can everybody find you at?
You can find me on Twitter. Well, you could contact me through Twitter at Adan Cepeda. That's ADANZEPEDA. And you can find me on Instagram at adanz.designs. And if you find me on there, drop a hi, or a hey, or a
or Heidi Ho,
or Heidi Ho, or something. Just let me know you're out there. All right.
All right.
Well, that's it for us this week. If you have any comments or questions or concerns or anything you'd want us to read on the show, or you have any work you would like to get critiqued, or if you have any questions about design or getting into the industry, or work, contracting, any type of questions too, you can send us an email at ramblingsofadesignerpod@gmail.com. And if you don't know how to spell that, it's all in the show notes. So you can find us on Twitter. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us anywhere you found us now. There should be a notes section, and you can see all of these links on down there. We also have links to all the articles that we read about, so you can also read them too. And if you read anything and you liked it, and you're like, hey, that was great, that was a great article that I didn't know about, thanks to you guys, well, let us know. and we'll be very appreciative. So
Yeah. Well,
until next week.
Bye-bye.
Oh, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.